Hi, my name is Kira Taylor, and I am a student loan expert at the National Consumer Law Center. In this video, I'll give you an overview of the largest loan forgiveness and relief programs available to federal student loan borrowers in certain situations. These programs can help you cancel some or all of your federal student loans. Let's take a look at what these programs are and who might qualify. If your school closed while you were attending, while you were on a leave of absence, or shortly after you stopped attending and you did not complete your program, you might be eligible for a closed school discharge. If the government grants a closed school discharge, it will discharge the loans borrowed to attend the closed school, refund the amounts paid on those loans, and delete any negative records about those loans on your credit report. You can apply for a closed school discharge right after your school closed or years after your school closed. If you have a physical or mental health condition that generally prevents you from working, you might be eligible for a total and permanent disability discharge. You can be eligible for a total and permanent disability discharge if a medical professional certifies that you have a total and permanent disability, you have a 100% disability rating from the VA, or the VA says you're unable to work due to your disability, or you receive Social Security disability insurance or supplemental security income for certain types of disabilities. If the government grants a total and permanent disability discharge request, it will cancel all of your loans. If your school misled you or lied to you about important information regarding the program you attended or the federal student loan you were borrowing to attend your school, you might be eligible for a borrower defense discharge. If the government grants a borrower defense discharge, it can cancel some or all of the loans borrowed to attend the school that engaged in misconduct, and it might refund some of the amounts paid on those loans. In addition, the government can delete negative records of those loans from your credit report. For example, if your school said that almost everyone graduates and gets jobs earning $100,000 or more to get you to enroll, even though that wasn't true, the government might grant a borrower defense application to cancel some or all the loans you borrowed to attend that school. Here are some other common reasons people apply for a borrower defense discharge. Their school misrepresented how much aid they'd receive as grants or scholarships, or their school misled them about the cost of their program, the average time most students completed the program, or how many students graduated. The school misled them about the relationship the school had with a particular employer. The school misled them about graduates' eligibility for licensure in the profession the program was training them for, or the school misled them about the transferability of credits. If your loans were taken out in your name without your knowledge, or a school told the government you were eligible for federal aid when you weren't because you didn't have your high school diploma or GED, you might be eligible for a false certification or identity theft discharge. You might also be eligible for a false certification discharge if your school enrolled you in a job training program, even though you wouldn't be eligible to work in that job in your state because you have a pre-existing condition, such as a criminal record or a disability. For example, if you have a felony conviction and live in a state that bars people with felony convictions from working in law enforcement, then you might be eligible for a false certification discharge if a school signed you up for loans for a police training program anyway. If your loans are discharged using the false certification or identity theft discharge programs, the government will cancel those loans, refund the amounts paid on those loans, and delete any negative history about those loans on your credit report. If you have a direct loan and worked at least 30 hours a week for a qualifying public interest employer while making 120 qualifying months of payments on your direct loans, you might be eligible for Public Service Loan Forgiveness or PSLF. Qualifying employment includes working for a nonprofit organization, working for federal or state government, and more. For example, folks that serve in the military and folks that work as nurses, doctors, teachers, and lawyers at nonprofit organizations generally qualify for PSLF. You do not need 120 months of qualifying payments in a row to qualify. Qualifying months include months where payments were made in an income-driven repayment plan, $0 payments in an income-driven repayment plan, payments made in the 10-year standard plan, and a few forms of forbearances and deferments. Income-driven repayment plans automatically cancel loans that have been in repayment for a specific period of time, depending on the IDR plan, the type of loan, when the loan was borrowed, whether the loan was for graduate or undergraduate education, and the amount of the loan. Loans can be canceled after 10 to 25 years of qualifying repayment. However, borrowers must be enrolled in an IDR plan to receive cancellation. Federal student loans are dischargeable if the borrower or student dies. That's it. Those are some of the largest programs for loan cancellation. But that's not all. There are some other smaller relief programs available to borrowers in specific circumstances. In some of these programs, the U.S. Department of Education will provide cancellation automatically. But in many cases, you have to submit an application and other documents to have some or all of your loans canceled. For more information about these programs and how to apply, please visit studentaid.gov or studentloanborrowerassistance.org, linked below.